Hey everyone, and welcome back to Building on 16. I'm Jason, and today I have to load and deliver a face cord of firewood to one of my customers. And I thought it would be a good time to go over a few things that I do to improve my firewood business. So I have a very small firewood business that I'm trying to improve every year. And I'm trying to split more wood, gain more customers, but I'm also trying to do it slowly because I don't want to overpromise and not be able to deliver the firewood for the year. Because my theory is that if you do a lot of advertising and you do not have the product, then when you get all these phone calls about having firewood delivered and you have to tell them no, they'll find someone somewhere else, and then there'll be no reason for them to call you back the next year because they found someone else. All right, the other thing I do is make sure that I sell good seasoned firewood. And it's a lot easier to do when you're a small operation like myself, and I probably split 3 cords a year. And so again, very small, but it's just a hobby and something I'm trying to ramp up. But right behind me is a shed a barn we have here on our property that I keep my firewood in, or at least some of it. And half storage and half firewood shed, but it stays out of the weather. It gets some air through here because it's open on this side and up top there. So it gets some air flow through there, and it also stays out of the rain. The other way that I've tried is these IBC totes, which work good, except for the Bobcat that I had when I first started this. I ended up selling, and the tractor that I have will not pick up a full load of firewood in an IBC tote. So be very careful on which equipment you have for how you want to run a business. All right, so that's how to not overpromise and how I keep my firewood. The other thing, and the other reason why I like keeping it in either the IBC tote or over here in this wood shed, is if you notice, I have a couple we call T-posts on each side over here, and that measurement is 8 foot by 4 foot high, and I cut my firewood into 16-foot rounds. So that right there is a face cord. 3 face cords make a whole cord. And if you're in the firewood business, that's probably something you already know, but those are the ways that we sell the firewood. And I prefer to sell it by the face cord. A lot of times if you sell it by the cord, they want like a bulk discount, and you're still giving them and splitting as much firewood as you are if you're selling them 3 individual face cords or 3 individual customers. So again, just my thought on that, but keeping up with how you size or how you keep up with how much firewood it is important. The other thing is we use this old pickup truck here, and I know from experience from having it measured out there that if I load that firewood into the back of this truck and it's kind of mounded over, it gives me that face cord, that 1/3 of a cord of firewood. And before I load up the truck with the firewood, one of the other things I want to talk about is how many times you handle your firewood, because that is time. It is an opportunity to damage something, to get injured. So the less you can handle your firewood, the better. And so obviously this is a regular pickup truck, so it's not going to dump. And one of the things that I'm going to try is one of these roll-off mats. I believe we got this from Harbor Freight, and we've had it for a while now, and I've used it for different things, and I want to try it for this firewood. So what I'll do is I will roll this mat out into the bed, stack my firewood in there, and with the crank here, I will try to roll the firewood out. I'm sure I'll probably have to take the first, few pieces out, or meaning more than a few pieces, but off the ends there, and hopefully I can get it to where it'll start rolling and it'll dump out. But that's something I'm going to give it a shot. All right, truckload done. And as you can see, mounted over the truck. A lot of times you're not able to get the corners filled great, so you want to make sure that you got a good heap and pile, and you want to make sure, again, you use your 4x8x16, and that's going to be really close to making sure you get your client, customer, what they need or what they're paying for. So I'm going to take this off, and we're going to see if this roll-off mat is going to help me with my firewood deliveries.
Okay, so here I am at the customer's house, and I am starting to remove some of the firewood from the corners because I feel like that's where it's actually going to get bound up, where the tarp of the roll-off mat is not as wide as the actual truck bed. So moving some from the corners, and I am going to start rolling this off. About halfway through this, I'm going to stop again because it has found a spot where the firewood is bound up into the truck bed, and the mat itself started actually rolling from underneath of all the firewood. So once we get that problem fixed again, the rest of it rolls off, and there's only a small portion of the firewood that's left on here. So all in all, this roll-off mat works pretty good for getting this firewood off quickly.
All right, well, we just got back from that firewood delivery, and all in all, it went pretty smooth. From loading the firewood in, using that rolling mat to help unload the firewood, worked pretty good. It got the majority of the firewood out and, you know, saved us a lot of time, and we only had to throw that last little remaining bit off. So awesome job with that. I think there's a couple things I can do to improve it, meaning, you know, there was some firewood that got stuck in the corners that if I would have picked those up and moved them beforehand, the mat wouldn't have slid underneath the firewood, and I probably could have got even more firewood out. So I hope this video helps anybody who's trying to start a small firewood business like I am, and some of the things that I'm using to get started without having to spend a lot of money. So if any of you have any suggestions or comments for me that may help me with my firewood business, feel free to drop a comment below. I always enjoy reading anybody's comments who's looking to help me out. But that's going to wrap up this video. I appreciate you watching. Think about subscribing to our channel, and we'll see you on the next one.